Well, hello you beautiful people, you. Welcome back. Alright, are you ready for this? My braised steak and onion video. This is going to be awesome, and I know some of you are going to be pretty excited about this one. I know I am. Okay, so back in the day, we used to get braised steak and onions in the tins. Now, when I was a kid, it was a red tin and it was Kraft that used to make it. And you did get lots of chunks of steak in it. These days, not so much, it's more gravy. But anyway, we used to have these as toasty toasties with sauce. And if we go camping, it was religious that you take cans of this with you every time you go camping. And we'd use our camping toasty maker and we'd make these with sauce. So if you ever go camping, take them with you. Now, if we couldn't afford the good one, we'd get the other one, the Harvest braised steak and onion as well. Okay, so today we're going to make our own. Oh yeah, baby. Okay, first thing we're going to do, meat. We need a kilo of oyster blade steak. Now, if you cannot get the oyster blade steak, you can use beef rump steak or gravy beef steak, anything that's really good for stewing and casseroling, okay? But definitely try and get the oyster blade. So the only place I can find it is Drake Supermarket has it, and lots of butchers do. $13 a kilo. I couldn't believe how cheap it was. It's actually cheaper than the gravy beef, which is usually the cheapest one to do. So yeah, definitely look around, look at a few butchers, which is a meat shop, and ask around and see if you can get your oyster blade, because with oyster blade it has like this line of sinew, this like hard thing through the middle, right? And as we're cooking it in the oven and stewing it, it totally melts down to nothing, but it makes the meat so just pull apart tender, and it wouldn't be braised steak and onion without it. So definitely try. If not, the other ones are still great too. It's going to be an awesome taste, but this just sets it apart from the rest. So what we're going to do is, normally when you buy it in the packets from Drake's and that, it'd be all cut neat and round and small, and you'd get them all in your thing. So what I did is I got it from the butcher in a big lump, and I cut it myself. That way I could cut them a bit thicker to do this. You don't have to, but if you've got the option to do it, definitely do it. So I've cut them nice and big and chunky. Now in a few days time, we're going to do beef Wellingtons. So if you're going out and getting oyster blade steak now, get yourself another half a kilo on top of that for our beef Wellingtons. So what I did is, for them, I cut it a lot thinner and froze them. And then for this one, I did it a lot fatter. So, okay, the only thing we have to do is cut the one outside fat off them all. That is it. Leave everything else as it is. Oh, okay. 3 really big onions. Peel them and slice them up into big rings. We need 60 grams of butter. We need some chicken stock, Vegemite, Worcestershire sauce, tomato paste, flour, and some salt and pepper. And baby, that is it. So before we start frying and cooking that up, we're going to have to preheat our ovens at 170 degrees Celsius. You want to get yourself a casserole dish. Now, the only one casserole dish I've got is my awesome cast iron one. You don't have to have cast iron. You have one with a lid. Now, if you can't have a casserole dish with a lid, just use one of your oven dishes, but when you cover it over with alfoil, just make sure you do it really well and seal it in as good as you can, okay? So have a dish ready, have your oven on 170 degrees Celsius. Now I'm going to trim the fat off the meat and slice the onions up, grab out a frying pan, and we're ready to rock and roll, baby. Our oven's preheating, my frying pan's heating up. I've trimmed up all the meat, I've cut all the onions. Now in a bowl, get some plain flour so we can dust our meat with it when we fry it. Grab yourself a cup measurement, a tablespoon measurement, and a teaspoon measurement. Have it all sitting there ready to go. Let's cook. Roughly 2 tablespoons of oil. Alright, so we dust our meat in some flour. Just a little dusting on it. Shake it off a bit. In she goes. Now what we're going to do is we are only browning it just the tiniest little bit. Just sealing that in, okay? We're not cooking it at all. Alright, just a nice little seared seal. Basically, a minute either side. Turn them over, 1 minute on the other side. And out they come. Make sure you got your casserole dish handy. Oh mate, I'm so excited about this. Half of our butter. In with our onions. Now we want to cook these for just a couple of minutes until they're see-through. Okay, now they're nice and see-through, we're going to add the other half of the butter. We're going to put 1 tablespoon of plain flour over it. And we're going to cook the flour out for approximately 2 minutes, okay? So sprinkle it over. Wait until it, because I'm using an electric one, so it'll wait till it gets up to heat again. But yeah, we want to cook it out for 2 minutes. A couple minutes later, we want to slowly add 2.5 cups of chicken stock. While that's cooking away and thickening up, we want to add 1 teaspoon of vegemite, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Oh yeah, baby. 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. Give it another good stir. Make sure you scrape the bottom of the pan and get all those meat juices up in there. Oh. Alright, now we just give it a really good mix in. Crack of salt and pepper in there, optional. Mix it in really well, and now we want to pour it all over our meat. Now we've poured it all over there, get our fork and just lift your meat up. And make sure it gets under as well. Not too much, but you just want all the juices to go underneath. Like so. Oh my gosh. Push it all down. Oh, it smells awesome. Okay, now we put our lid on, or our foil on really well, into our preheated oven at 170 degrees for 2 hours. Now you can get it out and have a look every now and again if you want, but I just leave mine in there and I don't touch it for the 2 hours. Oh, 2 hours later, now I had to take the lid off and leave it for a minute because I steamed the whole camera up. But 2 hours later, she looks like this. Oh, mate. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it on the stove top. I'm going to get a 1/4 cup of water with a heaped tablespoon of gravy, instant gravy mix. Mix them up together. Put this on the stove top until it starts boiling and put your gravy mix in to thicken it. Now, if you don't have a casserole dish that you can put on the oven top, take your meat out and put your juices all in a pan, a small pan, and do the exact same thing, or a small saucepan, and do the same thing with the gravy. Boil it up and put your gravy in and thicken it, and then put it all back in together again. Mate, you have just made your family something incredible. So what I'm going to do is, so that, oh my god, we've had one 31-degree day, and I have blowflies everywhere trying to dive into this meat. Alright, so you can do it, there's so many different ways you can do braised steak and onion. Alright, so first of all, you can make a big pot of mash, put your mash on the plate, back of the spoon, make a big hole, fill it up with nice big chunks if you want, and gravy all poured all over it. Or, I'm going to break mine up, so I'll just get a fork and break them up into smaller chunks. And with that, I'm going to let mine go cold. I'll chuck it in the fridge in a container with a lid on it. And when the kids are ready and they want braised steak and onion toasty toasties, I'll pull it out of the fridge cold, make up the toasty toasties, and they're completely done. Now the other thing you can do too is that you can wait until it's completely cold, and you can make braised steak and onion pies. So you just get out your puff pastry, make your pie up. This has to be cooled right down to completely cold to put it in your pies, and then just cook them like you would any other one. Oh, there's so many different ways you can do it. It's beautiful. Alright, so now I've got nice big chunks. Oh, look at this. Boom. Braised steak and onions. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have yourselves an awesome day. You know me. I'll be back. Bye.